Right, so this is your chapter 6 review from Alex. Now remember, your Alex, whenever you log in to your Alex, you're going to have different numbers in a different order. But if you have like a question on it, you can pull up this video and go to that type of question and see how the problem is solved. All right, so here we go. So for number 1, it says graph the solution to the following system of inequalities. First thing you need to do is make sure both of these are in slope-intercept form. So what I noticed, I'm going to write stuff over here off to the right side. This first one is not in slope-intercept form. I have 3x minus y. So I'm going to write that down over here. 3x minus y is less than or equal to negative 5. So less than or equal to negative 5. So and by the way, I am going to post this review on Schoology. So if you want an extra practice, kind of like a practice test, you can print this review off and work it through, and then watch this video and check yourself to see if you're doing your stuff right. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is my exciting move, because I have an x here that I got to move. What I have left over is I have a negative y, less than or equal to the positive 3x becomes a negative, and then I have a minus 5. I'm just going to bring on down. Okay, and the second step is your great divide. So I'm going to divide everything by a negative 1 because I need this to say y, y, not negative y. Okay, so what happens here though is when you divide by a negative, all right, we draw our little face on here, okay, because that reminds us that we have to do something. And what we have to do is when you divide by a negative is you flip the inequality. So your less than or equal to becomes a greater than or equal to. Okay, these negative ones, they cancel each other out to where you have a y. And when you divide by a negative, all it does is change the sign. So a negative 3x becomes a positive 3x, and a negative 5 becomes a positive 5. So I'm going to rewrite this nice and pretty without any circles or anything else. And then I'm going to write down a couple things that I know. Okay, so what I know is that this is going to be a solid line. And I know that I'm going to have to shade up. Okay, I know that my slope is 3. And I know my y-intercept is 0, 5. So I'm going to go ahead and plot this graph. So I have 0, 5. So 0, 5. Okay, my slope is 3, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. I can't go any further, so I'm going to do the opposite to finish my line. So instead of up and to the right, I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. And as far as I can go. Okay, it is a solid line because it's equal to, so forgive me for this not being a perfect straight line. Okay, and yeah, it's a little off down here because it likes to do that. Okay, so good enough. And I'm going to shade up because it is greater than. So all of this will be shaded in. Okay. My second equation here, it's already in slope-intercept form, so I have y is greater than negative 3x plus 4. So let me zoom in over here. Okay, a couple things that I know is that this is going to be a dotted line because it's not equal to. I know this is also going to shade up because it is greater than. I know my slope is a negative 3, and I know that my y-intercept is going to be at 0, 4. So when I look back over here, I'm going to go ahead and put my y-intercept at 0, 4. So 0, 4 is right here. And my slope was a negative 3. So here I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 1. So down 1, 2, 3 in the right 1. 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. 1, 2, 3 in the right 1. 1, 2, 3 and over 1. 1, 2, 3 and over 1. And I'm going to keep on going the opposite direction. So instead of down to the right, I'm going to go up and to the left. So 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, and that's it. Okay, so this line is a dotted line. So I'm going to go ahead and do like little dashes through my points. Okay, and I have to shade up. So to shade up, what that means is that all of this is going to be shaded. Okay, so this area in here, Okay, so this area in here, this is where my solutions are. So all you need is, it says to give 1 point. Let me see. Then give the coordinates of 1 point in the solution set. So 1 point, I'm going to pick this point right in here. My x value is 0, my y value is 10. So my answer I would have here is going to be 0, 10. And again, there's more than one correct answer. You could pick 0, 9, you could pick 0, 8, you could pick 1, 10, you can pick 1, 11. Okay, anything that's in that shaded area would be a solution to this problem. Okay, so that is how you do number 1. Number 2 says Keith, the trainer, has 2 solo workout plans that he offers his clients, Plan A and Plan B. Each client does either one or the other, not both. On Wednesday, there were 8 clients who did Plan A and 4 who did Plan B. On Thursday, there were 3 clients who did Plan A and 2 who did Plan B. Keith trained his Wednesday clients for a total of 17 hours and his Thursday clients for a total, or 17, and on Thursday he did it for 7. How long does each of the workout plans last? So what we are going to do for this one is we are going to set up our equation. So we have, I'm going to go ahead and start with this first one. On Wednesday you have 8 clients who did Plan A, so I'm going to put 8x, and you have 4 clients who did Plan B. And together there's a total of 17 hours. Okay, and on the next day, Thursday, there were 3 clients who did Plan A, and there were 2 clients who did Plan B, and they were there for a total of 7 hours. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my matrix. So it has to go x, y, constant, so 8, 4, 17, 3, 2, and 7. Okay, when I put this in the calculator, it should come out to 1001 of my answers. I got to put it in my calculator. Okay, so to put this in the calculator, you have to go to second matrix, go to edit, it's a 2 by 3, and my numbers are 8, 4, 17, 3, 2, 7. Okay, so second matrix math. I gotta go to my home screen first. Then second matrix math, the letter B. Then I gotta go back to matrix and say it's A. And my answers here are 1.5 and 1.25. So it says how long does each workout plan. So for X, which is my Plan A, that was 1.5 hours. Because it said, yeah, hours. And Y, which is my Plan B, that takes 1.25 hours. All right. Number 3, graph the system below and write its solution. So the first equation that I have is y equals 1/2 x minus 1. This one, I know that my slope is 1/2, and I know that my y-intercept is 0, -1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plot this one. So 0, -1, and my slope is 1/2. So up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and I'm going to do the opposite. So down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Go ahead and connect my lines. It's not going to be the straightest line ever. Good enough. Okay, and then my second equation is x minus 2y is equal to 2. So we have to do 2 things here. We're going to do our exciting move. So move the x over. I have a negative 2y left over. Positive x becomes a negative. And the last thing I have to do is migrate divide. So I'm going to divide everything in here by -2. So when I do that, I have y equals, okay, -1 divided by -2. You can put that in the calculator and hit math and enter. It will just come out to 1/2. Don't forget your x. And 2 divided by -2 is a -1. So what I have here is I have m is equal to 1/2. And my y-intercept is 0, -1. Well, if you notice, that's the exact same line that I already have plot right here. That's the exact same thing. So it says up here, know that you can also answer no solution or infinitely many. So my answer here would be infinitely many. Okay, scene number 4. A store is having a sale on jelly beans and almonds. For 3 pounds of jelly beans and 5 pounds of almonds, the total cost is $13. For 6 pounds of jelly beans and 2 pounds of almonds, total cost is $16. Find the cost for each pound of jelly beans and each pound of almonds. Okay, so on problems like this, you want to identify 2 things. And the 2 things we're talking about in this problem are the pounds of jelly beans and the pounds of almonds. Alright, so for this first one, just read the first sentence. 3 pounds of jelly beans, so I'm going to call jelly beans X. And 5 pounds of almonds, so I'm going to call this Y. So 3 times X plus 5 times Y is going to give me $13. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to call my jelly beans X, almonds I'm going to call Y, so I have 6X plus 2Y, and that's going to cost me $16. So after this, I'm going to put this in my matrix. So I have 3, 5, 13. I have 6, 2, and 16. Okay, so remember on your calculator, it should always come out to 1001 because that's X on top, 1X on top, 1Y on bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put this in my calculator. So I have 3, 5, 13, 6, 2, 16. Second quit, second matrix, math, the letter B, second matrix, A, enter. So I have 2.25 and I have 1.25. So what this means, and I'm going to zoom in over here so I have more space to write. So what this means is that X is equal to 2.25. So the cost for a pound of jelly beans is equal to $2.25. So Y is equal to $1.25, or well, 1.25. But what that means in this problem is that a pound of almonds is equal to $1.25. And that is your answer. Okay. Number 5, at a football game, a vendor sold a combined total of 135 sodas and hot dogs. The number of hot dogs sold was 35 less than the number of sodas sold. Find the number of sodas sold and the number of hot dogs sold. Okay, so for this one, we have 2 things here. We have sodas and hot dogs. Okay, so I'm going to call sodas X. Well, actually, hang on one second. Before I decide to do that, it's easier to look at the second sentence. The number of hot dogs sold. So I'm going to call this Y equals 35 less than the number of sodas sold. So I'm going to call that X. So I can go ahead and call sodas X and hot dogs Y. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our 2 equations. So the first equation that I'm going to have is I'm going to have, you have so many sodas, you have so many hot dogs, but together you sell 135 of these items. Then I have that the number of hot dogs is 35 less than the number of sodas sold. But remember, when you have less than, you have to flip-flop these 2. So this is going to be X minus 35. Alright, now when you set this up into a matrix, the first one's good to go because it has to go X, Y, and your constant. The second one here, though, is not good to go. I have to move this X on over. So when it's positive, I move it over to negative. Then I have plus Y is equal to negative 35. So I have X, Y, and my constant. So now I'm going to write out my matrix. So I have 1, 1, 135. Then I have a negative 1, 1, negative 35. Okay, when I do this, it should come out to 1, 0, 0, 1 in my answers. So second matrix, edit. And I have 1, 1, 135. Negative 1, 1, negative 35. So go back to my home screen, back to my matrix, RREF, go to the letter A, and my numbers are 85 and 50. So what this means is that X is equal to 85, Y is equal to 50, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't relate it back to the problem. So what did I have labeled as X? We had sodas. So we have 85 sodas. And we have 50 hot dogs. And that is your answer. Okay, number 6, graph the system below and write its solution. Note that you can answer no solution or infinitely many. So for this one, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with that first one. We have x minus 3y equals negative 6. X minus 3y is equal to negative 6. First thing you have to do is your exciting move. So I got to move my x on over. So I have negative 3y is equal to, if it's a positive x, when I move it, it becomes a negative, and I have a minus 6. Then I have to do my great divide. So I'm dividing everything by negative 3. So from this, I have y equals negative 1, because remember there's a 1 in there. Negative 1, negative 3. Negatives will cancel each other out, so it's just 1/3 x. And negative 6 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2. So what do I know from this? Well, I know my slope is 1/3, and I know that my y-intercept is 0, 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plot that. So my y-intercept is 0, 2, and my slope is 1/3. So I have to go up 1 over 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 1 over 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 1. I can't go any further, so I'm going to go down 1 over 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, can't go any further. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these dots the best that I can. Okay, and then my second equation that I have here is y equals 1/3 x plus 3. So what I know from this is that my slope is 1/3 and my y-intercept is 0, 3. Okay, so from this I can already tell that okay. So what I noticed though is that my slopes are the same, so I know this is going to be parallel lines, and I know parallel lines never intersect, and if they don't intersect, I know this is going to be no solution. But you still have to graph this equation in order to get credit on the review and on the test. So I have 0, 3, so that's this right here, and then I just have to go up 1 over 3. So up 1 over 1, 2, 3, up 1 over 1, 2, 3, down 1 over 1, 2, 3, down 1 over 1, 2, 3, and that's as far as I can go. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make these. It's very hard to draw a straight line on this thing. Okay, so there's my line, and as you notice, they're parallel lines. They never intersect, so my answer here is going to be no solution. So you just need to write it off over here, no solution. All right, number 7 says use substitution to solve the system. So a lot of y'all want to know, what do you have to show for work if I put this in my calculator? Here's your work. So it's 1, negative 3, negative 13. Coefficient of x, coefficient of y, and your constant. Okay, and then you have to show me what your answer looks like in your calculator after you do this. So second matrix, go over to edit, 2 by 3, and I have 1, negative 3, negative 13, negative 3, 4, 24. Okay, so go back to my home screen, go through all the math and the answers, and what you should get is negative 4, 3. So here I have x is equal to negative 4, y is equal to 3, which is also the point negative 4, comma 3. So where it says x equals, that's negative 4, y equals 3. Okay. Number 8. So number 8 is an inequality problem. Both of these are in standard form, which means I'm going to have to do both of these into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with this first one here. We have negative 3x plus 7y. So let me write this down over here, negative 3x plus 7y. And let me look and see what my less than negative 21. Less than negative 21. All right, so first I'm going to go ahead and put this into slope-intercept form. So I got to do my exciting move. So I have a 7y is less than, that negative 3x becomes a positive, and I have a minus 21. And then I have to do a great divide. So divide everything by 7. So my 7's cross out, so what I have left over is y is less than 3/7 x, and then negative 21 divided by 7 will just give me negative 3. So what do I know from this? Well, I know that my slope is 3 over 7. I know my y-intercept is 0, negative 3. I know that I'm going to have a dotted line, and I know that I'm going to shade down because it's less than. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. So I have 0, negative 3, so 0, negative 3. My slope is 3 over 7, so up 1, 2, 3, all the way over to 7. And that's as far as I'm going to be able to go. And I can go down 3, so 1, 2, 3, and over 7. It should be about right here. And that's as far as I'm going to be able to go. So this is a dotted line, so it's not going to be the prettiest line. So you should have little dashes. Okay, and you're going to shade down. So all of this down here will be shaded in. And it's easier if you just go equation by equation. Instead of like trying to solve everything, then plot it, just do one at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Okay, my second one that I have is 7x plus 2y is greater than negative 8. Okay, so again, I got two things I have to do. First is my exciting move. So I'm going to move my x on over. So I have 2y is greater than positive 7x becomes a negative, and then I have minus 8. And then I have to do my great divide, so I'm going to divide everything in here by 2. So I know those will cross out because 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I have 1y is greater than negative 7 over 2x. Negative 8 divided by 2 is a negative 4. So what do I know from this? I know my slope is negative 7 over 2. I know my y-intercept is 0, negative 4. I know this is going to be another dotted line because it's not equal to. And I know that I'm going to have to shade up because it's greater than. So looking at my graph, I have 0, negative 4. So right here. I have to go down 7 and over 2. Well, I don't even think, oh yeah, I can. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and over 2. And then I gotta go the other way. So up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 2. Up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 2. Okay, and this is a dotted line. So the little dashes. And I'm shading up, so all of this will be shaded. Okay, so where they overlap, which is in this section right here, any point in this highlighted area would be a solution. Now remember, it's not going to be, your solution can't be on the line because those are dotted lines, not solid. Okay, so when I look over here, I just need one point that is in the solution set. So I see, let's do this point right here. That point would be 8, negative 1, 2, 3. So 8, negative 3 would be a solution to this problem. Alright, let's see, number 9, graph the system below and write its solution. So for number 9, I have x plus 2y is equal to 0. First thing I need to do is my exciting move. So I have 2y is equal to, that's a negative x. I mean, you can leave the plus 0 there if you want to. And then we're going to divide everything by 2. So I have y equals, that's just negative 1/2 x, and then 0 divided by 2 is just 0. So what I have is my slope is negative 1/2, and my y-intercept is 0, 0. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that. So 0, 0, and then negative 1/2. So down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and I'm going to do the opposite. So up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots, try to make a line, and there's my first one. Okay, my second equation that I have, and let's see, I'll write it down here, is y equals negative x minus 1. So what I know from this, it's already in slope-intercept form. I know my slope is negative 1 because that's the coefficient in front of x, and I know that my y-intercept is 0, negative 1. So I'm going to start at 0, negative 1, and since I have negative 1, I go down 1 over 1, 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 and so on. And then I'm going to do the opposite. So up 1 over 1, 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 up 1 over 1. So I'm going to go ahead and try to connect these dots. And where my lines cross, okay, so right here is my answer. So my answer for this one, I'll just write it down here, okay, is at the point -2, +1. Now, on your test, you do have to graph these, okay? But you can always check yourself. If you want to, you can put these equations into y equals, graph them, hit second, trace 5, enter, 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 and make sure your answer is the same. You're more than welcome to do that. But I'm telling you right now, on your test, you're going to have to graph them just like what we did here. Okay? All right, number 10, we're going to graph again. So the first one that I have is -2x plus y is equal to -4. And this one isn't too bad because all I have to do is my exciting move. When I move this -2x over, if it's negative, when I move it over, it's going to become positive. So y equals +2x minus 4. And you don't have to do a great divide because it says y equals. You have a positive y, that's all that you need. My slope here is going to be 2. My y-intercept is going to be 0, -4. So I'm starting at 0, -4. So 0, -4, and my slope is 2. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1, 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 and do the opposite. So down 2 into the left 1, down 2 into the left 1. So there is my point, or my points, and I'm going to connect those. Okay, in my second equation, I have y equals -1/3 x plus 3. So what I know from this is that my slope is -1/3 and my y-intercept is at 0, 3. So 0, 3, and then my slope. So I'm going to go down 1 over 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 1 over 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, can't go any further, so up 1 over 1, 2, 3. Up 1 over 1, 2, 3. And I can't go any further. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these dots. All right, and where they intersect, okay, so where they cross is my answer. And I'm going to write my answer over here. So the solution to this problem would be 3, 2. So 3, 2 is the solution to this problem. And again, okay, you can put this in y equals. You can put this one in y equals. On your calculator, look at your graph, see if you see the intersection. You hit second trace 5, enter, 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 and there's your point. You are more than welcome to do that. Okay, the only thing is that you have to have these graphed on your test. If you don't even know how to do your slope, okay, you can always put those in y equals, look at your table, find the points that you need to plot, and plot them on your paper. Alright, number 11, we're solving for the system. So for this one, all you have to do is just show me what you put for your matrix. So coefficient of x, coefficient of y, and your constant at the end. Coefficient of x, coefficient of y, and whatever the number is equal to. Okay, so once you type that in, you have to show me what you get in your calculator. So I'm going to go back to my matrix, edit to 2 by 3, so 5, 2, -4, 3, -2, 20. Second, quit, go back to my home screen. Okay, once I go through the math part and do the letter B, and once I hit that I want the name for the letter A, I'm going to hit enter, I get 2, -7. So what this means is that x is equal to 2, y is equal to -7, so my actual solution is 2, -7. Okay, so number 12 is very similar. So number 12, I have coefficient of x, coefficient of y, and whatever it's equal to. Coefficient of x, coefficient of y, and whatever it's equal to. And again, 1, 0, 0, 1. So this is your work. If you don't have this on your test, you're not going to get credit for it, so make sure you do. So we have 3, 8, 23. And I have -9, -5, 7. Okay, home screen, go through all those steps again, and you should get -3, +4. So x is equal to -3 and y is equal to 4. If for some reason you don't remember the explanation here, okay, pretty much how this goes is this is your x, y, and this is like your answers. Okay, so what this means is I have 1x would be equal to -3. And I have, let's see, we'll do blue. So I have 1y is equal to this 4. That's what that means. Alright, so the way I'm going to write my answer though is negative 3 comma 4. So that is my solution. Alright, number 13 is another inequality. So the first one that I have here is y is greater than negative 4 over 7x plus 1. So I'm going to zoom in and write some stuff down that I know about this. So what I know from this is that I know my slope is negative 4 over 7. I know my y-intercept is 0, 1. I know that this is going to be a dotted line. And I also know that I'm going to have to, so for this graph you are going to shade up because it is a greater than sign. So I'm going to go ahead and plot this this line. So I have 0, 1, and then I'm going to go down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 7. And I can't go any further, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 7, which should be right there. And I can't go anymore because then it's going to be off the graph. So this is going to be a shaded, a dotted line. So I'm going to try my best doing a dotted line. And I'm shading up, so all of this here will be shaded up. Okay, and my second equation, I have 4x plus 7y is less than 42. So let me go ahead and move this on over. 4x, we'll move that because I got to make exciting move. So 7y is less than negative 4x plus 42. And then I got to do my great divide. So I'm dividing everything in here by 7. So I have y is less than negative 4/7 x. 42 divided by 7 is 6. So what do I know from this? Well, I know my slope is negative 4 over 7. I know my y-intercept is 0, 6. And I know this is going to be a dotted line. And I also know that I'm going to shade down. Now, I also know that these lines are going to be parallel because my slopes are the same. So let me go ahead and plot this. I have 0, 6. So 0, 6. And then I'm going down 4 and over 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way over here to 7. Can't go any further, so I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way over here to negative 7. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do, this is a dotted line again, so try to do my dashes on here. And I have to shade down, so all of this is going to be shaded because I'm shading down. Okay, now where your answers are though, and I'll do my pink highlighter, your answers are in this area between these two dotted lines. Now remember, your answer is not on the line because they're dotted, but my answers are in this area since I had to shade up on one and shade down on the other. So it says I need to pick one point in this area, and we'll just pick this point right here. So that's 4, 1. So one of the points in the solution set would be 4, 1. Okay, we got 2 more, so 14 and 15. So 14, we have y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in over here, write down what I know. I know my slope is negative 1/2, and I know that my y-intercept is 0, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and plot this. So 0, 2 is right here, negative 1/2. So down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And we're going to do the opposite. So up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Connects my dots the best that I can. And my second equation that I have negative x minus 2y is equal to negative 4. So here I'm going to have to do my exciting move. So I'm going to bring my x on over. So what I have is a negative 2y is equal to negative x becomes positive. And then I have to do my great divide. So I'm going to divide everything in here by negative 2. Okay, so when I do that, I have y equals, remember this is a positive 1, so 1 over negative 2 doesn't reduce, so you have negative 1/2 x, and then negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. So what do I know from this? Well, I know that my slope is negative 1/2, and I know my y-intercept is 0, 2. Okay, well let's look at what we had up here. My slope was negative 1/2, and my y-intercept is 0, 2. So what that means is that if I were to go and plot these points, it's the exact same line. Okay, so when it's the exact same line, your answer is this infinitely many solutions. So I'm just going to write over here off to the side, infinitely many solutions. Okay. All right, last one. The sum of two numbers is 52. One number is 3 times as large as the other. What are the numbers? So the numbers are my x and y variables. I have the sum of two numbers. X plus y is equal to 52. One number, though, is 3 times as large as the other. So y is equal to 3 times as large as the other. What are the numbers? Now, before you do anything, this equation here has to be put back into standard form, and it doesn't matter, though, about the no-nos. So I'm going to move my 3x over, and so I have negative 3x plus y is equal to 0. Okay, x, y, constant, so I'm good there. So my matrix would be 1, 1, 52, negative 3, 1, and 0. So then I have 1, 0, 0, 1. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in my calculator. So second matrix, edit. I have 1, 1, 52, negative 3, 1, and 0. So I'm going to go back to my home screen, go through all those steps to get your RREF, the letter A, and it comes out to 13 and 39. So I said what are the numbers? The numbers are 13 and 39. And you can always check because you can add those two up and it's 15 and multiply one of them by 3 to get the other answer. So 13 plus 39 does give you 52. 13 times 3 gives you 39. And I believe that is it. So those are your 15 questions on the review, which are going to be the exact same thing for your test, just different numbers in a different order.